Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a particularly nice roll to go through, I think. There's a 1960D. It's an original bank wrap roll. It comes from Chicago. And given that we've got this beautiful roll from Chicago, never been opened, 1960D, which is really one of those years that, man, you just don't want to miss out on when you get a chance to go through an original roll. So that's what we've got going on here. Right now, I'm working on finishing up the stuffing of names into the flip inserts. I just want to make sure I get that all finished off before we get started here. Sorry I didn't have time to do it earlier. I ended up needing to take care of a few things that preempted my ability to deal with this when I really wanted to. Hello, Joe and Wanda. I got Wanda in the house. Missed you at the auction the other night. You doing okay? See if anybody else shows up here. I did find out that, well, quite a while back anyway, that if you start a broadcast and you just talk for a few minutes, you give people time to get through figuring out that you're online, coming online to meet up with you, get through the commercial, and get up to the event. It can be up to 4 or 5 minutes. So I want to give it a couple more minutes anyway, just to be sure that we got time to let everybody get in here. You're very welcome, Joe. I like it when I can solve a mystery. I don't like providing more mysteries than I solve, but it appears as though we at least got one of your 3 RPMs figured out today. As soon as you get that better camera, I'm sure we'll be able to do a little bit better with it. We got anybody else watching out there? Is anybody watching that hasn't spoken up? Maybe we got a lurker out there that might want to speak up and say hi. Well, there's Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? I am with the understanding that we have, 15, 20 people who don't generally comment in the chat, but they do listen to the show. Whether they're involved in the roles or not doesn't matter to them. They just like to listen. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that they like to listen, like to give them the entertainment they're looking for. Hey, sissy. Sissy's in the house. I'm at number 40, so I'm almost there. Good evening, Hidden. I very slowly have a house full track and trickling in. At 6 o'clock on the Eastern time zone. Out here on the Atlantic coast. It's already dark outside. It's dark like it's 10 o'clock at night dark. I'm not sure I like that very much. But it is what it is, right? Alright. Got all the names stuffed. So I'm ready to get started. I put these up here and get the roll opened up. And here is our roll. It's in the First National Bank of Chicago. Let me move my camera out just a little bit so we can see a little more clearly what the names are on the flips as I flip them over and get my keyboard out of the way because I don't need it right now. Well, hello, Coin Junkie. Got Coin Junkie. We got Jessica. You catch the show easier after sunset? Well, it's definitely after sunset here, that's for sure. Okay, let me go ahead and start prying this little roll open so we can find out what goodies lurk inside. We may find or may not find anything really good, but you never know until you look. Alright, there's that side pried open. Now for the other side. There we go. And bring the wrapper up over the coins, just like usual. And there we are. There they are. 50 coins. Presumably 50 coins. I haven't counted them, so I don't know for sure. But we'll find out soon enough. Here's coin number 1 going to Yo-Man. Yo-Man gets coin number 1. Let me get my scope set up for it. And see what happens to be in here. Oops. I have to move that way down. There we go. Seem to be having a little bit of an issue with my camera today. Ooh, that's a nice RPM just to get us started, right? Let's see. Get everything focused in just right here. Now let me move my light. And that shows us we've got a nice RPM. It's a nice split lower serif RPM. And that's going to be coin number 1. That's going to go to Yo-Man. Let's take a look and see if we can find a good marker. Well, I may be having an issue where I may have to restart my computer here. This doesn't seem good. What is that? Oh my gosh. We have a heck of a die crack right there. Going from the end all the way across to the middle of the head. There's a scrape underneath the die crack. But the die crack is definitely there. It looks like a nice little split die starting up. Hey, my camera's locked up on me now. Come on. Okay, let me try refreshing this program, see if that'll work. Yeah, that might have given us the refresh we need. There we go. Nice. Nice. Can we look at God again? Sure we can. If I can get this thing working. Let me flip it around here to where God is actually lit up and you can see it real well. There you go. I don't see anything going on there. Let me focus it down just a little bit to get the field. It doesn't look like there's anything in the area around God. You got more than a half a roll of various RPMs out of the 1960D roll. I think I was talking with Hawkeye earlier today, and he said the same thing. He said there's a lot of RPMs coming out of those 60D rolls, and that's like way cool. Love that idea. We back out some so we can get a little better field focus on everything. There you go. Let me see if I can keep that going. We're having a camera issue. I'm not sure what the issue is. I probably need to restart my computer, but I can't do that now because I've already started the broadcast. Audio is very low sometimes. I'll try to sit up and actually talk into the microphone a little bit better. Let's see if that does us a good job. Alright. So coin number 1 turns out to be a pretty nice looking RPM. It was a lower split serif. Nice lower split serif. And let's get coin number 2 out. Take a look at it. Mike Birchman. Let's find out what Mike Birchman gets. And boy, we're just going to have to deal with this through this particular broadcast. I can't stop the broadcast because if I stop the broadcast, I can't come back into it. So we're just going to have to work our way through this. All right. And it's that split in the center of the camera screen. It's just not reading at a fast enough pace to keep a live shot going. So it's a little choppy and a little fuzzy, and I'm sorry for that, but it's going to work out. We'll get it. We'll get it one way or another. Let's see. Let me find my coin here. And it looks like we're going to have... Come on. Come on. There we go. Well, we got nothing going on in the reverse. Nice little die gouge going through the lower E of E pluribus unum. Good evening, Wade. So we had nothing on that coin. So I'll go ahead and put it on the normal stack. And now for coin number 3. Coin number 3 is going to go to Joe McBride. Let me figure out how to look at it. There we go. And it looks like Joe... Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a normal coin. Yeah, it looks like a normal coin to me. Yeah, we're having quite a problem with my camera tonight. Just doesn't want to do the job right. As when it's good, it's good. When it's not so good, it's really kind of not so good. I'm streaming in simulcast with Dolby Digital Surround Sound. How does that work? Let's see. Did that go around the spectrum for you? I don't think it did. I'm talking to the same mic. Always on your widow phone screen. Boy, I tell you what, you never know what you're going to see when you actually bring that up on a full-size monitor someday. This one's Steve A. Steve A did get one spot in this roll. And it looks like I'm going to have to bring it in so that I can see. Oh, looks like a normal coin from this angle. Take a look at the eye area. Nothing there. Nothing in the In God We Trust. And come on. Okay. Nothing there. Let's take a look at the other side. Boy, this is frustrating. Oh yeah, I've seen that die before. We've got a big giant die line going through the M there, from the S to the M. Then we've got the die gouge in the lower E. I need to figure out what that is for the obverse die, so I'll know that I've seen it before I get to the reverse. And that's coin number 4. Now coin number 5 goes to Steel Horses. What are we going to pick up for Steel Horses? It looks like we have another one of the same die as coin number 1 out of the roll. It appears. Yeah, see, we do have double serifs there. Nothing on the eye. Man, this is just almost too jumpy to work. tell you what, let me set up the dyno real quick. It's probably going to work a little better this time around. So we'll just do the dyno. Get a couple of things cleaned off around the screen here. And let me go set it up. Let's see. Just bring it up here. There we go. Now let me stick coin number 6 under here so we can get it all focused in the way it needs to be. Go back to an old-fashioned way of handling this. Hey, Shannon. I don't necessarily like doing it this way, but when it needs to be this way, it needs to be this way. Okay. That's as good as we're going to end up getting it. That is not an RPM. Flip it over and take a look at the other side. And almost missing designer's initials there because of a grease strike. There's a little bit of grease stuck in the die when the coin was being struck. Nothing else there. That's for Paul Hampton. This is a really nice coin. It's in good shape. Now, coin number 7. Coin number 7 for Mike Birchman. Let's take a good look at it. Looks like I got nothing there. It's a hair up there in the eyeball area. A hair fiber, not necessarily a hair. It's a little fiber, tiny one from paper. Okay, so we got nothing on that side. Let's take a look at the other side. And nothing there. We have to go on to coin number 8 now. Justin Busman. Got Justin Busman's coin up here. Let's take a look. And well, there's nothing on the mint mark. Let's see if I can do something about this lighting. Make the lighting appear better. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Turn this around a little bit. Just really hard to get good lighting on a coin that's so bright. It's either too dim or it's too bright. Almost can't get it set just right. Alright, nothing on that obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse and see if there's anything on the reverse to look at. I'm going to have to reconsider that whole thing about using my microscope because, well, it just doesn't seem to work very well all the time. There's coin number 9 now, Jim Fletcher. Jim gets himself an RPM. This one is an RPM. Let's see if I can focus in. Somewhere safe and calming because the news was on. Well, I can understand that. News is something that doesn't make me feel good these days, that's for sure. Okay, well, we've got a little bit of a split lower serif, even though it's really difficult to see. But you can see it just a little bit on the middle, in the middle of the lower serif. It does have a split running right through the middle. So we'll have to check this out and see if it's going to be something worth dealing with for listing, or if it already is listed. Don't really see any good markers. Oh, there we go. A couple of big die gouges below the bust. Big die gouges. There's 3 of them. So we'll be able to use that. Looks like he's got a streamer coming out of his nose, headed toward the 9. So let's take a look at the other side and see if anything happened over here that we need to be talking about. Not seeing anything there. So that's for Jim Fletcher. Coin number 9. Now coin number 10 is also Jim Fletcher. Oop, that was an RPM. I need to put it in the RPM pile. Also Jim Fletcher. Let's see what Jim Fletcher gets for his other coin. Well, it could be an RPM and it may not be. It's really hard to tell with this microscope. No. Nothing there. Well, I see that. Okay, nothing there. No, this isn't the scope I was using. It was just way too choppy. I need to restart my computer to make that work again. So we're back to the Dynalite for now. It's okay. We can deal with this. I mean, you know, I'm going to go back through the roll anyway, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, that's 10 coins, now 11. Yeah, I wasn't getting any satisfaction at all trying to use that other scope. Is this, no, it's not. This one looks like it's also an RPM. So I'm going to hold this one out. This one goes to Sireg. I do believe this is going to turn out to be an RPM. Yeah, it is a pretty big difference. Got a spot on the reverse. Stick that in the RPM pile and move on. Coin number 12 is Jeff Dunn. Coin number 12 for Jeff Dunn here. Yeah, it looks like we've got nothing going on there. And nothing on that side. Now number 13. Lucky coin number 13 goes to Deanne. And Deanne gets... Where'd that coin go? Here it is. It is a split lower serif RPM. Let's look at it. Splits on both serifs. So that'll work pretty well. Big marker. A huge die dot down there by the shoulder. Big marker. Well, hello, Sir Gold. Hit me at number 14 here. Bill Betts. See what Bill Betts ends up with. Well, Bill Betts got himself an RPM. This is definitely an RPM. I can tell it by the shape and the thickness of the serifs. I don't have a whole lot of magnification on this, but I do know that it is an RPM. Oh no, not all caught up in my work. 60D is just one of the nicer rolls. If I can get a hold of one that's not been searched through, I always want to go through one of those because you always get something out of them. They're not very expensive and they work out to be pretty cool looking a lot of times. This was an RPM, so I'm going to put this in the RPM pile. So this one's going to go in the RPM pile with the others. I'm doing great, Sir Gold. And this one's another RPM, and it's going to go to Eric. Eric Beyer gets this one. Cute looking little RPM. I'll put him on the stack over here with the rest of his friends. They get sprinkles because sprinkles are for winners. You have a lot of 60D rolls and they're all full of RPMs. Yeah, that is a theme we seem to follow. That's why 1960D rolls tend to be really cool to go through. I think I'm getting another batch of them here. Before too long, I think another guy's going to be selling me a big batch of them. Oh, there we go, another RPM. It's relatively minor, but it's definitely there. You can see the split in the lower serif there and then the split in the upper serif. Little die crack running across the forehead. It looks like a little die chip above the L in Liberty. There's your die crack running across the forehead. So we'll see what we can do with that. Take a look at the reverse real quick. See if anything catastrophic happened to the reverse. Okay. And then number 17. This will be for Chase Carlisle. Coin number 17. And coin number 17 works out to be an RPM as well. It is another one of the minor RPMs that we're finding in the roll. I think there's probably 3 or 4 different RPMs so far. So this one will keep me busy for sure. Got nothing on the reverse. So that'll be a Chase Carlisle RPM. Now coin number 18 goes to Mike Birchman. And Mike Birchman picks a nothing out of this. Got no RPM. No hub doubling. Nothing on the reverse either. Now for number 19. Number 19 goes to Eric. I recall he already pulled himself an RPM out of here, and he gets another one. This one's actually kind of cute. This one's really nice. I kind of believe maybe this is RPM number 80 or 82. I think I sort of remember that. This one has basically the seam of a mint mark running right up over the top of an extra thick vertical bar. Pretty nice split down at the bottom. It's definitely a nice RPM there. Got the volume turned all the way up and you can barely hear me. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Let me turn my PC volume up and see if that helps. No, it's not going to help. The best I can do with it there. Let's see. Well, I've got the volume turned all the way up. Let's see if I can pull some gain out of this. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can throw some gain into this. Does that sound better? Can you guys hear me better now? Hey, Bill. There's Bill 457. You guys hear me better now than you could before? How about this? Is this even better? You guys hear this even better? Check, check, check. Much better? Okay. All right, now we've got good sound. Now I've got gain set into this quite well. All right. Now that's a nice RPM. I don't know which one it is, but we're going to find out later. But it is a nice RPM. It's one of the best ones I've seen in the roll so far. So we'll go ahead and pick around the rest of this and see if there's anything else on this before we flip it over and take a look at the reverse side. Let's see what might have happened on the reverse. I'm going to have to get myself another mic, I guess, because this microphone, it doesn't pick up sound very well. And I need something that picks up my sound a little bit better. I don't know of variety coins and carnivorous plants. I don't think this is number 11. I'm going to go with one in the 80s. I think it's 80 or 82. I don't know. I'll have to look it up later, but it's a nice one. I know that for sure. Here's coin number 20, quads.com. Quads gets this one, and it is not an RPM. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a die break inside the 9 of the date. Audio is better now? Okay. All right, then I know exactly what I need to do when I get this set up again. Just make sure I get all this stuff set up the right way. I can't hear what's going on in the video until after I publish the video. So the only way for me to get a heads up that the sound's not good or that I'm not making any noise at all is right there in the chat. That's your job, folks. You're going to have to let me know if you can't hear me. Hey, Steel Horses. Just living another day in paradise here in the low country, North Carolina. Here's coin number 21, Joe McBride. Yep. Nothing there. What do you get paid? A good show, Sir Gold. You want a good show, you have to help me produce it. You're part of the audience. I'm going to make a disclaimer, an audience disclaimer. Watching this show indicates to me that you're willing to help with any production necessities, including sound checks. Not real cool. I mean, we're finding a few nice RPMs, but I mean, we're not like finding like a FS 101 double die or anything. We're getting some cuties out of it, just not real high value stuff. You always wanted to be a producer. Well, now you can put it on your resume when they call me. Oh, what did he produce? And I say, well, what did he produce? You mean other than a hard time? He told me a couple of times he couldn't hear me. Here we go, Jeff Dunn. This is coin number 23 now. Am I back? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Good. Can you hear me now? Good. This one's not an RPM either. Dale Carnegie was an orator. Well, that's cool. Perhaps I could be an orator if I really tried. I'd rather be an orator than a commentator. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary. That's part of the Declaration of Independence, folks. A narrator. You want me to do narration? Yes. The blue-ringed octopus is a small creature that haunts the shallow waters around the coast of Australia. Not very commonly seen, but when you do see one... What is that? Oh, that's all hair sitting on the coin. But when you do see one, the bright blue rings give you warning to go the other direction, because if you don't, their bite could be deadly. You want me to talk about what I found? Now, is that out of, like, this want to be able to just sit back and relax and not pay attention to the screen until I say, wow, cool, there's an RPM. And that's what that is. Right there, there's an RPM. That's a nice split lower serif for you. This is for Justin Bussman. I'm an orator, or you would not be hearing me. Well, that is true. I'm speaking. That's generally what orator means, a person who's speaking to other people. Here's a good one for you. Only the people who watched this show will know this. I do almost every one of these shows barefoot. No shoes, no socks. I don't like wearing shoes or socks. I usually go barefoot. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure to introduce you to the next Paul Harvey. Stay tuned for the rest of the story. And now, you know the rest of the story. Most interesting man in the world. I am the new most interesting man in the world. I don't speak often, but when I do, it's in English. Or some broken version of German, or Spanish, Arabic, or one of those languages. One of the worldly languages. It's the worldly language night. All right, everybody, if you don't understand Sinhalese, please leave the audience now. I'm about to go to a straight Sinhalese broadcast. It's like 3/4 of the people who listen to this broadcast don't know what Sinhalese would be. They're just hanging around to listen. And we have another RPM. Another RPM for Steel Horses. Shabam. Nice RPM, too. It's got a really nice split lower serif. Like that, baby. Let me zoom in on it so we can get a better look at it. There we go. How do you like me now? Wanda Williams says, I do. I do what, Wanda? I wonder, Wanda. Who wrote the book of love? Wanda, did you ever watch A Fish Called Wanda? Or did you see it in German like I did? Ein Fisch namens Wanda. Oops. At least I did that when it was already in the holder. I can drop anything I want as long as it's already protected. Quads comes up next. Quads is next. Quads has... it's not really an RPM. This is your coin. And after I drop it, this is your coin on drugs. Don't do drugs. You finally get to get your coins out tomorrow to see what all you've accumulated over the last 6 months. What have you been getting mail in and haven't actually been able to open it? Been out of town that long? Well, I hope everything you have is exactly what you were hoping it would be, and more. Don't imagine who's speaking German. That'd be me or Michael Caine. This coin has a strange tilt to it. No small dates in this roll. Generally, when you get a large date or a small date roll that's an original packed roll, you're generally only going to get one or the other. They kind of stopped using the small date dies one day and changing them all over to the large date dies and just started making coins. There might have been a couple of bags at most, maybe a couple hundred rolls out of thousands and thousands of rolls. That Paul Hampton's name is upside down here. I need to flip it over because I am obsessive compulsive about my flips. You have to understand that I put thousands of these things in order a month. So, got nothing going on there that I can see. I think I was in the middle of a sentence. Now I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh, until your house was finished. So your house is finished now? And you like? Adios, mi amigos. I have some coins calling my name, including an 1887 Indian head cent. Adios, mi amigo. Oh, nice. High-end pieces. I like it when I get high-end pieces, but they usually go right back out for sale because I can't afford to keep them. I just bought a package that had a 09S VDB in it, turned it right around and sold it. Small date, large date, and thousands. Oh, okay. Thousands of rolls. You might be talking about a couple of thousand or a couple of hundred rolls, a few hundred rolls maybe. maybe up to 1,000 rolls. But if you look at the overall mintage, that could be mixed anyway, large and small date. But if you look at the overall mintage of 1960D, that's a very, very small number compared to the rest of the mintage. So most of them are going to be either large date or they're going to be small date. Thank you, Majestic. Put my brain back in order for me there. Now, coin number 32 goes to Deanne. Let's see what Deanne gets. Well, it doesn't look like an RPM right off the bat. Not a doubled eyelid. Let's take a look around and see if we find anything else on the obverse to talk about. And there is nothing there, so let's look at the reverse real quick. And I'm assuming that for the people who just sit back and listen to the show, they would prefer that I be talking most of the time. Although sitting and listening to someone talk constantly annoys me. Ooh, it's one that you bought when you'd been drinking a lot. What do you like to drink? I'll send you a couple bottles. It's just a joke. No narration. You'd rather hear nothing, Bill? Looks like that could be a doubled eyelid. I have to give that a better look later. Well, hello, Clutch Rights. No, those are not rare. What you're talking about is a lamination peel. Lamination peels are actually relatively common. Well, I'm going to say that's got to be. That really looks like a double die right there. Nice little doubled eyelid we have on here, and that's kind of scarce for a 1960D. Got a nice one. Welcome to the show, Clutch Rights. But no, the answer to your question is that they are rather common. Unless it's a large one. If it's like half the size of the coin, yeah, it might have something of value there. But if it's relatively small, not really any extra value. What happens with that's when they roll out these big sheets of metal that they eventually cut into little planchets to mint coins, sometimes some impurities get between the different layers, kind of like a biscuit dough. And you know how when you cook a biscuit dough into biscuits, sometimes you can flake them apart? That's kind of what happens when lamination happens with impurities between layers of metal. And then when it's struck with that heavy force that the coins are struck with, it actually lifts that little bit of metal up off of the planchet, and then it folds back when it goes into a bag or into circulation. You thought your ex was an auctioneer as much as she talked? Well, the auctioneers, they use numbers, and then between the numbers they use filler words. Sometimes I think my wife is using filler words when she's talking to me. So she says something like, "You ought to meet a better bidder. Take the meet a better bidder trash out now. Meet a better bidder." And I say, "What are you saying? I don't understand you." Oh, hey, look at this one. A nice little RPM there. Who's that for? Deanne. Deanne gets another RPM. How about that? It's small. There's not really a whole lot to it, but I can see that it's there. Either that or she'll say something like, 1, do the laundry, 2, do the laundry, 3, do the laundry, 4, do the laundry. I'm like, what are you saying? You're talking too fast. You're just mumbling. I don't understand what you're saying. 1, do the laundry. 2, do the laundry. 3, do the laundry. Food. So what laundry? What are you talking about? Wash your socks, wash your socks, wash your socks, wash your socks. Okay, I get it. Now I'll be off doing that here real soon, okay? One more question. 1999 Connecticut State Quarter with a bend and more spacing, double spacing in the letter than usual. I've heard it's worth something, but have no idea. Neither do I, buddy. All I do is Lincoln cents. Don't know much about the quarters. Don't really know what you're talking about with that. I'm sorry. If you want to send an email, a direct email with a decent image of what you have, I will definitely take a look at it and let you know whether I can help you with it. Oops. Well, phooey. You know, that's my email address, cd@coppercoins.com. No spaces, no slashes, just cd@coppercoins.com. You send me an email directly with a decent image of what you're talking about, I'll see what I can do about helping you. And if I think it's anything special and I can't help you, then I'll find somebody who can. Do I wear socks? No, not usually. Why would I want to wear socks? I like it when my feet have connection to the ground. I'm a barefoot person. I even walk out in the woods barefoot. Let's see here. So your last name really is Will, W-I-L? That's interesting. I just thought maybe that was a, like a catchy pseudonym. If that's your real last name, that's actually kind of cool. Only 3 letters in your last name. Mine has 9. Mine's harder to spell, just because a lot of people like to mispronounce it and misspell it because they mispronounce it. If you pronounce it correctly, you almost have no choice but to spell it right. Oh, W-I-L as in Wilson. And Wilson, like the soccer ball, or volleyball. It was a volleyball, wasn't it? Wilson volleyball. Wilson! Oh, to coin number 38. Let's do coin number 39 now. Quads.com. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what's there. Unfortunately, I see no RPM on this one. Fancy that, will ya? No RPM. This is definitely going to be a roll. I'm going to have to go back through a second time. Even if I usually wouldn't, I would this one because, well, I started finding... Well, I found one, anyway, doubled eyelid. And that's kind of special for 1960D. You just don't see them very often. Coin number 40 goes to Chase Carlisle. And Chase gets this one. What do we have here? It looks like it's not an RPM. Yeah, wait a minute. No, not an RPM. And it's not one of the doubled eyelids either. And nothing on coin number 40. Yeah, looking for coin number 41. And coin number 41 belongs to Joe McBride. Let's see if Joe can pull us out of the little achy funk we got going on here. And he does. Nice little RPM there. Well, you guys know what Chuck is short for. Name's Dwayne John Murphy Jackson. They just call me Chuck because it's easier. Here's coin number 42, Adam Chambers. Yeah, you know, when my voice is working, Chuck. When my microphone is working well, and I am actually speaking well, it tends to be detrimental because nobody's talking to me. Where's Dennis? Dennis the Menace? Had nothing on that one. Let's take a look at coin number 43 now. Paul Hampton. Looks like we've got a roll that's producing some RPMs, but it's not being extremely nice about it. It's being a little chintzy. Giving us the good stuff. Yeah. So I have nothing on this coin either. We got another reveal coming up in an hour. Reveal coming up in 1 hour, I do believe. Let's see. I can get my tube out for this one. That was 215. Now 216 is a 1969S. Be looking through a 1969S roll. Hopefully going to find some goodies. Justin Bussman. Coin number 45. I'll try to get my other scope fixed so that it'll work better, but I may end up having to use this scope anyway. Now coin number 45, Adam Connor. And we do have an RPM here. This is a pretty nice RPM. You can see it down there. If you look down the bottom corner of the screen, you can see the split on the lower serif there. And let's see if I can get this in the light just right to show the split on the upper serif, but I did see it a little bit earlier. I might have been seeing things because this is a nice lower split serif. So definitely have an RPM. And the reverse side. Nothing going on here, but it is a nice shiny coin. No eyelids listed. Do you agree that that was an eyelid though? Because that's what I saw. Might flip on the other microscope here just to look at that one coin to be sure. There's Doug Reese. I put his name in backwards. Doug Reese for coin number 46. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is coin number 46. And it is an RPM. So Doug Reese gets an RPM out of this one. Why couldn't what be considered a new find, Sir Gold? The doubled eyelid that we're talking about? If it is a doubled eyelid, it is a new find. But I don't call anything discovery coins because I don't know specifically that any one given coin was the coin that was discovered of this die. We may have someone out there holding on to an entire roll of them, just never reported them to me, thus I wouldn't know about them. But that doesn't mean the person who did send it to me first is the person who discovered it. It's just the first reported. It's different. Oh, they just never have listed one. There's a lot of things out there that have yet to be listed, I'm sure. Some have yet to be found, I'm sure. There's another RPM. Another RPM for the 1960D here. This one goes to Jim Fletcher. So Jim's going to be happy. Well, folks, it looks like I'm going to see you again here as soon as Mickey's hand goes all the way back up to the top again. Mickey's got to make one full dance move, then I'll be back. Working that 1969 S roll. Original bank wrapped roll. See what we can find in it. May find some real goodies. You'll want to be around for that for sure. Yeah, the discovery coin thing, it's kind of a misnomer because, you know, some people call it, well, it's a discovery coin. Well, no, not necessarily, because you don't know that that person discovered it. It may just, and it could be misattributed by somebody else. It could be something that nobody reported, that they've still got out there. They just haven't reported it. There's a nice RPM right there. That's the last coin in the roll for Surag there. The last coin in the roll, coin number 50, and we get a nice little RPM out of it. Made it for the last coin. There you go, Coin Dragon. Nothing like being late royally in just the right fashion to catch the very last minute of the broadcast. Okay, well, let me see if I can get this other scope pushed forward and see what we can do. About the possibility, maybe, of getting enough of a view of this at least so that we can say that we saw it nice and good and up close. Certainly looks like a double die lid to me. What do you say, yo man? Think we got a double die lid there on a 1960D Lincoln? Hey, Jess. Lots of little bumps around it. See what it looks like when I get it into a different lighting angle here. There you go. How about that lighting angle? Looks like you got one down below it toward the nose area. But man, that one right up there in the middle of the eye socket area, that tells me that I'm looking at a double eyelid there. I don't know, let me get a ramp out. Put it on a ramp and see what it looks like. we thinking now? I'm going to call that a probably definitely yes. So it looks like to me anyway. Yeah. I think I'd probably say positive too. So when you have a Humpty Bump like this, oh, my camera died on me. It quit working on me. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get this thing to work again. There we go. Got it back up and working again. This is just frustrating. It froze on me again. Okay, we're going to stop this because I'm just getting a little frustrated at this stupid camera. But I'll get it working or hopefully I'll be able to get it working for the next broadcast that we have coming up in about 50 minutes. So come back and see me at 8 o'clock and we'll run this 1969S roll and see what happened there. I appreciate you guys showing up, and I'll talk to you in about 50 minutes, a little less than an hour from now.